right, here we go, ladies and gents. My name is Nick. I'm the owner of Real Top Marketing, and I'm going to take a minute to search the term Google Ads on Quora, Quora.com, which is a place that people go to ask questions and get them answered by trusted authorities. So I've literally typed in the term Google Ads, and what I want to do is I want to shoot off the top 20 questions on Google Ads and then shoot off the answers for you. And then what we're going to do on the back end, we're going to chop up each of these answers into simple little videos and see if we can get you some of these, or the most commonly asked questions answered for you. So pay attention. We're going to get you some Google knowledge. Let's go. All right, question number one. Which one is effective, Facebook ads or Google AdWords? This is the number one question on Quora around Google Ads. In my opinion, in my experience, and my recommendation to almost every client, it's going to be Google Ads. And the reason for that is not because it's cheaper. The reason for that is intent. When people are typing in that they're looking for a robotics company in, Lakeville, Massachusetts, and your ad shows up, they're motivated, they click on the ad, they're far more likely to do business with you. Lower sales cycle or shorter sales cycle versus Facebook. Whereas Facebook, if you think of the psychology, they're on Facebook. They might not be looking for what you have to offer. So even if they're interested, even if they submit a lead ad form on Facebook, or they submit their information to get contacted from your website after they click on the ad, chances are it's going to take 10 times the number of phone calls to get them on the phone. You're going to have a longer sales cycle, and that revenue event, turning that marketing into dollars, is just going to take far longer. So Google Ads always number one, although we love Facebook ads too, but typically a phase two in our lead generation campaigns. Okay. Do people really click on Google Ads? Well, yeah, 91% of Google's revenue is from Google Ads, okay? Now, if you're wondering, or if you've said it to yourself, oh, I never click on those banners. Yeah, 0.01% of the time banners show up, people click on them. That's a different side of Google Ads, which is display marketing. But in terms of search marketing, if you look at the real estate on any sort of Google search, the real estate on page one, the top 4 spots are always Google Ads. It's making up about 80-90% of what you see on page one right now. So you are absolutely clicking on Google Ads, and you probably don't even realize it. We're investing in upwards of $200,000 per month for our clients in Google Ads, and we've got to get them a great return. So those numbers are real. Those are turning into millions of dollars in revenue for a reason. Okay. Question number 3 on Quora. What is the importance of Google Ads? The importance is that people more and more are pulling away from just your typical referral when they're looking for services or a product, and they're going to Google and they're asking Google to help them find that product or that information. And seeing that the top 4 spots of any Google search are Google Ads, and that the majority of people do click on the top 4 spots, if you're not on Google Ads for your service or product and people are on Google looking for it, chances are you're missing out on some serious cash. Keep in mind as well, people that click on Google Ads, they don't click on the organic listings. People that click on the organic stuff aren't clicking on the ads. People that are clicking on your Google My Business, they're not clicking on either of those. You can only click on one thing. So you want to make sure you capitalize on ads first, because they're at the top. Your Google My Business second, because it's secondary on that first page. And number 3 on the organic listings. Number 3, is Facebook marketing or Google Ads better for a startup? That's going to depend on the type of startup. Okay, so if you have a startup that is heavily funded and you have a product that doesn't have demand, it's so new, it's so innovative that people aren't even looking for it, then you're probably going to have to go to Facebook. You're probably going to have to go to other disruptive marketing platforms like YouTube, maybe Google Ads Display, obviously Instagram being part of Facebook and the whole Meta conglomerate. You're going to have to go to TikTok. You're going to have to go to places that, you're going to be spending a lot of time at the top of the funnel to educate people and make them aware of why they should need your services. But If your startup is already getting in front of an existing demand, then you probably want to go to Google Ads. If they're looking for it, get in front of them, sell them what you have to offer, the quickest way to a revenue event. So again, depends. All right, next question on Quora. If you were looking to run an advertising campaign, would you invest in Google Ads or Facebook ads, and why? I think we've answered that, so we're going to skip it. Next big question on Google Ads. And remember, guys, these are the top questions in the last, 15, 20 years on Quora. How can you increase conversions from Google Ads? This is a big question, and there's a lot to it. We can go into a lot of details here. How can you increase conversions from Google Ads? And for those of you that don't know what conversions are events that happen on your website that bring some sort of value to the business. So if you're running a lead generation campaign, a conversion could be, some sort of a phone call. It could be a form fill-in. If you're running an e-commerce campaign, it's someone buying your product. If you're running a course, it could be someone buying your course or signing up for some sort of free trial offer. Conversions are defined at the campaign level depending on the type of business and the intent. But how can you increase conversion? Okay. Number one, I would tell you is really focus on the type of traffic you're creating at the Google ad campaign level. A lot of people think all traffic is the same. People are very impulsive. And if you put an ad in front of them, even if it doesn't match as what they were looking for, guess what? They're going to click on it. So you want to make sure that the search terms that people are typing in perfectly match what you have to offer. If someone is typing in toaster and your ad shows up and you're selling microwaves, probably not a good bet, okay? So you want to make sure that the search terms, the keywords that you're bidding on, and then the search terms that people are typing in that are being associated with those keywords perfectly align with the product or service you have to offer. That's marketing 101, okay? The second thing you want to do is remember Google Ads, you're paying per click. You're not paying per impression. So you don't want your ads overselling. You want serious ads that are very clear, that aren't too punchy, that aren't too captivating. Facebook ads, you want as captivating as of an ad as possible because you're paying for the eyeballs, right? You've already paid for it, so let's get them in. Let's get them into our circle. But you don't want to do that with Google Ads. That'll allow you to filter out garbage traffic. And then beyond that really is the site experience, okay? One of the biggest reasons that I see people see their conversions cut in half or doubled when fixed is simply site speed. We have a lower threshold for patience, or we just have less patience as a society right now in 2022. If you look at the social media platforms that are crushing it, Instagram Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts. Why? Because we want things fast like this. So if someone gets to your website after they clicked on an ad and you are taking 3 or 4 seconds to serve them up your site, they're gone, okay? And they're gone very quickly. Cell phones are easy to use. So I would say site speed is the biggest thing. Spend the time and spend the money investing in site speed optimization. It's absolutely important. Aside from that, if you're running a lead gen campaign, take a look at the barrier of entry. I've seen some companies trying to do all their selling on the site and asking for the customer to fill out a form that is essentially a complete application. For every additional thing you ask for in a form, you will see your conversions drop. So try to keep that at a minimum, okay? Another great tip is asking questions. Remember, people don't care about what you are doing and what you have to offer. They care about themselves. So starting off a landing page with a question like, how can we help you? Those are all a small handful of tips to increase your conversion rate. I would say this question requires a lot. I would say it requires an audit of a website, of a landing page, and this is where you want to spend the money. So spend a ton of money on fast websites, amazing copy, and a great experience for the visitor. You can't spend enough. It's worth every dollar. Are Facebook ads cheaper than Google ads? In my experience from managing millions in campaigns over the last 10 years, yes, they are, okay? But cheaper isn't always better. The fact that you can generate a lead from Facebook less expensive or in a less expensive manner than Google ads doesn't mean it's a better lead. Longer sales cycle, typically you have a lower lifetime value from a Facebook customer versus a Google customer. So, stay away from the clearance rack. Focus on Google ads at first. And once you maximize that opportunity, then I would move to Facebook to generate your leads. Certain businesses, Google ads is not even an option where you have to focus on Facebook. But I would say if you're just generating leads for a service business, I would go Facebook first. Let's see here. The next question is, what are Google search ads? This is a big question, okay? Google ads have a lot to them. In fact, even the YouTube platform is managed inside of Google ads, okay? Google search ads are specifically ads that show up when someone is typing in something. They're typing in a service they're looking for, a product they're looking for, and what you have are those top 4 spots in Google. This is not a display ad. This is not a banner. This is not something that appears in YouTube before a video. Again, all those things are managed inside of the Google Ads platform, but Google search ads are specifically high intent. They're looking for what you have to offer. Next question, is Google AdWords good for a small business? I think it's becoming less and less good for a small business. So I could generalize and say, yes, it's great, you can scale. The reality is Google has set things up in a way where the top 4 spots are getting the majority of commercial traffic, okay? So if you are in a marketplace that, let's say you're in a small town and there are 10 plumbers, and all 10 plumbers want to do marketing on Google, there's only 4 spots. Well, what you have there is, 4 spots, 8 plumbers. There's going to be high competition, which is going to drive up your costs. So what you have is a high barrier of entry. The company that's typically going to win in that war is the company that's willing to bid at the top and has the budget to do it. So yes, it could be good for a small business, but you got to have the budget for it. There's no room to be on or to be bidding low, be on the bottom of the first page or the second or the third page. You might as well not be there at all. So you got to have the budget for it. Okay. How can I enable Google Ads to appear on my website? I think what you're looking for is Google display advertising. The partnership is called Google AdSense. So you want to look up Google AdSense. If you're a blogger, for example, and you can generate tons and tons of really high quality traffic to your site, you could dedicate certain sections of your site for Google AdSense space. And what Google will do is actually pay you to put other people's advertisements on those different spots of your website. And you can make millions doing it. I'm not saying you will, but the Google AdSense program is what you should be looking for. Let's take a look here. How does Google Ads deal with fake clicks? Well, this is a big question. So you have the ability within Google Ads to flag certain IP addresses. I don't rely on Google Ads to be filtering any of the fake clicks. I don't understand why a company that has an incentive to get paid for every click is going to look out for me as a business owner and have my best interest in mind to avoid fake clicks. So what I do is I use third-party software like clickcease.com. It's a great piece of software that will detect garbage IP addresses from shady locations, erratic clicks. It uses really cool behavior analysis to see if those clicks are garbage. It will collect those IP addresses, dump them into a repository. It sends them into Google and will even ask you for a refund from Google for the fake clicks. So clickcease.com is where you want to go. Let's see here. We're at 15 minutes, guys, and I think we've fired off about 20 answers. Can you do Google Ads without a website? That's a good question. Technically, you can do Google Ads without sending traffic to a website. There's something called, and we do this for some clients, called a Google call only campaign, where the ad is simply a button to call, and that's the only option. They can't click to a website. If you're in certain industries where there's a high sense of urgency, the campaigns work great. They can seem pretty expensive, but really every click is a call, so it's pretty cool. Technically, you don't need a great website, but you still need a valid URL, and the URL needs to have your phone number on it, and Google needs to verify your URL with that phone number, because that's the phone number that's going to be used in the ad. So you do need some sort of a website, but it doesn't need to be great for that specific type of campaign. But that's super niche. Get a website. Spend amazing money on a website. That is your digital storefront. Let's see here. Next question. What is the difference between Google Ads and AdSense? Again, AdSense is the partner advertising platform where if you have a website with traffic, you can advertise other companies using Google as the bridge to those companies. Where Google Ads is you're running an ad for your own company when someone searches for your service or product, and you're paying. Google Ads, you pay. AdSense, Google pays you. How much does it cost to advertise with Google? Okay, this is going to vary wildly, okay? But I'm going to give you some suggestions based on my experience, okay? Number one, you're not going to make any sense of advertising on Google if you are not willing to have a competitive budget within your marketplace, a competitive bid to show up in the top 4 spots, and obviously the capability to convert that marketing. You might as well not do it if you're going to play small, because Google will gladly charge you plenty of money to be on page 2 and get garbage clicks that just don't lead to anything. But really the money's in the top 4 spots, okay? So you want to have a decent budget. I would say a good starter budget for some smaller service-based businesses is at least $2,000 per month. I've seen some budgets go as low as $1,000 per month. But really, people have been advertising on Google for more than a decade now. People are aware of it. It has to be done right, and you're going up against a lot of competition. So you can't half-ass it. Okay, let's say that. Let's see here. Will Facebook's ad platform overtake Google's ad platform in the next 5 years in revenue terms? Great question. Wow, I like this question a lot. No, I don't think it's going to happen. The reality is Facebook, it's not a search engine. Although there's a search mechanism there, they haven't nailed search. They seem to be staying in their own lane with social media. And even that is starting to get hit pretty bad by the likes of TikTok. YouTube has been sort of morphing itself into a social media platform. Twitter's doing more. I don't think Facebook and Instagram is going to go anywhere, but I don't think it's going to continue growing. It doesn't have the cool effect anymore. And the reality is that's how we use social media. And it's not a search engine. Google is a search engine. Let's see here. This is a great question. What does the Google Ads word remarketing mean? I love this one. Okay, let's talk about remarketing for a second. So what remarketing is marketing to someone after they've come to your website. They could be people that maybe didn't convert into a lead or a purchase or a subscription. They didn't become a customer of yours. We can remarket to them. Technically speaking, even if they did come to our website and fill in a lead ad form or buy our product, technically we can still remarket them too. So remarketing means basically they came to the site. Once they left, they start seeing our ads in different areas of the internet. They could be seeing us through the Google AdSense network. They could be seeing us at YouTube. They could be seeing us at Facebook. They could be seeing us at Instagram. They could be seeing our ads on TikTok. We have the ability, because of cookies, because of tracking people's IP addresses, in most cases, from my experience, to show ads to these people after they've left our website. And remarketing is a very, very powerful tool. A lot of people will come to a website. They were hooked with a really good ad, but they weren't yet ready to buy. And as long as we can follow them around the internet, eventually they will get to the point that they would buy, and that could eventually drop your overall marketing costs a lot because we're turning previous visitors into conversions down the line. Okay, I like to call, by the way, remarketing the Freddy Krueger of digital marketing. Freddy Krueger used to show up everywhere, even in your sleep, and that's what I feel like remarketing does. How do I turn off Google Ads? That's a great question, and actually, this is actually a good question because there's a little bit we should expand on with this. You could go into Google Ads and pause a campaign. Okay. We've seen campaigns miraculously turn themselves on down the line, or someone made a mistake and turned it on, or they had an auto rule that turned it on from a third-party piece of software. So my suggestion is, if you're turning off a Google Ads campaign, shutting down your business for the month, and you're going to Bali or something, you don't want to be running Google Ads. When you shut it off, change your budget to $1, just in case you have some sort of automation set up, or some sort of automation set up that automatically turns it on when you're gone, so you don't blow through your budget. Let's see here. This is a big question too. Is SEO better than Google Ads? Short answer is no. Okay. Google is a for-profit company, so I think the top 4 spots of Google, being ad spots, are always going to have priority. The highest percentage of commercial traffic, meaning clicks that are turning into revenue for companies, is going through Google Ads. And keep in mind, this is us putting SEO, which is search engine optimization, or organic traffic, against Google Ads traffic. Keep in mind, people that are clicking on Google Ads for the specific product are not the same people that are clicking on the organic listing for the same product. You can't click twice. You can only click once. You can only click on one of those listings unless you do multiple searches for the same thing. So with that being said, you want to make sure you're optimizing for Google Ads, for Google My Business if you're a local business especially, and for SEO, aka Google Organic. How will Google AdWords affect my SEO? Google AdWords is probably one of the smartest things you could do for an SEO strategy. I'll tell you why. Within days, you can see what keywords have the most traffic. Okay, and we're talking beyond forecasting. We're talking actually seeing traffic come into the site. That's what counts. You can see of that traffic, which of those keywords are turning into conversions, which of those keywords that turn into conversions gave you the best customers, highest closing percentages, better lifetime value. And then what you could do is you can take those keywords that you love, that you've paid for, and then you can optimize your SEO strategy around those keywords. Okay, so Google Ads is going to allow you to create a much smarter SEO strategy. I had one campaign I was working on. We were spending serious money in AdWords, and we looked back on the previous SEO strategy that the client was doing, and come to find out they were ranking number 1 on a ton of keywords, but those keywords had no commercial value. So what did we do? We looked at the Google AdWords campaign. We pulled top 10 keywords that are making money for the client, proven, signed, sealed, delivered, and we changed out their SEO strategy when they came to us to focus on those clicks. What are some guides on effective use of Google AdWords? I'd say that's kind of a generic question. I'm not going to answer that because it's not really getting into any specifics. So sorry, Mandeep. We're moving on. Let's see here. Is Google AdWords actually hard to learn? The answer to that is yes. And the reason for that is unless you have hands-on experience running Google Ads campaign or running Google AdWords campaigns, it's going to be very difficult from just taking a course to understand all the nuances. So my suggestion is if you want to learn Google Ads, just like anything else, become an apprentice, maybe go work at an agency, maybe run Google Ads for your own small business with your own money, where you're not managing someone else's. Learn the industry that way without taking a ton of risk managing other people's ads when you haven't done it before. And then once you've really gotten that experience, at least a couple of years worth, then you can move on and start managing your own AdWords campaigns, whether it's for clients, if you're an agency, or you're going to be a digital marketing consultant. Let's see here. Last but not least, how are Bing ads better than Google ads? Well, I'll tell you, they're not. I mean, Bing simply doesn't have the market share. For every $10,000 that we're investing for our clients on Google ads, we're spending maybe $1,000 on Bing. Nationwide company we work with right now that's doing about $100,000 a month investment in Google ads. They can barely spend $10,000 on Bing. The market is not there. Bing, by the way, for those of you that don't know, is Microsoft Ads. The default search engine in all Windows-based computers is Bing. So as a result, the search engine is still viable, but it's very rare that Bing becomes an alternative to Google. Some industries have trouble getting approved on Bing or on Google, but then for whatever reason, Bing has less compliant guidelines. We've seen that a little bit, but it's not a better platform. It is an alternative for the reason I just mentioned. And also, if you've capped out Google, keep in mind you can cap out, especially Google search. You cannot invent more searches. So if you are getting a high percentage of the clicks of the particular searches that are relevant to your business, and you're getting a very high conversion rate, and you can't spend anymore, you can't invent more searches, then you want to look at an additional platform, which is going to be Bing, probably before you move on to disruptive marketing like YouTube or Facebook or even TikTok. So guys, those are my top so many questions answered Google Ads. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped you. These are I think we did 25 questions. I don't know, but if you go to Quora.com and search Google Ads, you're going to see all these questions. This is the top questions in the last 20 years. My name is Nick Tsoukalis. I'm the owner of RealTop. We are a Google search or Google Ads partner here out of Boston, Massachusetts. And if you have any questions regarding your Google Ads campaigns, obviously reach out to us. Have a great day.